No, I can hear you.
Can you hear me, Brittany?
I can hear you, Chairman.
Okay, good deal. This Sam?
Yes, sir. You doing all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sure. Yeah, Chairman, we can hear you. We've got approximately 72 people on, waiting for some of the commission members to get back on before we get started.
Okay, you let me know when we're ready.
I will.
CRC. Force that.
Chairman, it looks like we've got some commission members on. It probably would be best to go ahead and do another roll call when you're ready to come back to order.
Ready.
Hi, Brittany. I'm here.
Okay,
Thank you.
sure. Chairman Vaughn, whenever you're ready to get started.
We've got most of our commission members that were on the previous roll call are back on present. Is that right, Brittany?
It appears that way, but I think let's go ahead and do another roll call once you're ready to come back to order.
Okay. It is 2:02, so I'll go ahead and ask Mr. McMillan to have another roll call. So John, proceed.
Okay, Chairman Brown,
Here.
Dr. Claypool,
Present.
Dr. Sarinsky, Mr. Gamble,
Here.
Dr. Martin, Dr. Jensen,
Here.
Ms. Skelton,
Here.
Judge Price, Ms. Hatchett, Mr. Harwell,
Here.
Dr. Sablarski,
Present.
Dr. Harvey,
Here.
Mr. Robinson. We have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, John. Maybe some of these other individuals will join us momentarily. Before we move into any kind of items, we do have on your agenda, we've got 6 different meeting minutes we need to approve. I hope all of you commission members have seen those on your email. Ms. Peters sent them out last week. So I think we'll be in order to approve all 6 at one time. So we can do that, I believe, unless a commission member has a problem with that, but I'll move forward with that assumption. Is there a motion to approve all the minutes from December 1st, December 5th, December 6th, December 7th, December 8th, and December 12th, and approve all at one time as printed?
So move. Second.
Got a motion from Mr. Harwell. Who was the second?
Eric.
Thank you, Dr. Jensen. Motion and a second. Is there any other discussion on that motion to approve all the minutes at one time? If none, I'll have Mr. McMillan have another roll call vote.
Chairman Brown,
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore,
Yes.
Dr. Sarinsky, Mr. Gamble,
Yes.
Dr. Martin, Dr. Jensen,
Yes.
Ms. Skelton,
I believe I would need to abstain since I was not able to attend those meetings.
okay, Judge Price, Ms. Hatchett, Mr. Harwell,
Yes.
Dr. Sablarski,
Yes.
Dr. Harvey,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Who doesn't vote? Mr. Robinson does not vote.
Right. Motion passes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, John. Thank you all for attending to all that. Before we move any further with Mr. Absher to discuss compliance update, I'm going to ask Mr. Justin Aday to discuss what occurred in the courtroom today and what he's able to discuss with our commission. So, Justin, you got the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a brief legal update, which is mostly surrounding the proceedings this morning. Over the past couple of days, there were a number of parties who have filed various actions in the Montgomery County Circuit Court. So many of those were seeking a temporary restraining order from the court as to the issuance of licenses that were awarded by the commission either on December 1st or December 12th. The court heard extensive oral arguments today from those who filed those actions, as well as counsel for the commission and counsel for some parties who have intervened on behalf of the commission. And after hearing that argument, the court did not take any specific action today. And the court said that that the commission would, be able to move forward in this meeting and conduct the business that it has before it today. Certainly, there are proceedings that will be ongoing with these matters, and the court could entertain, requests that have been made for temporary restraining orders and injunctions and those types of things, but nothing restraining the commission from its meeting today or the agenda that it has before it.
Okay, thank you, Justin. Does any commission member have a question or comment for Justin pertaining to today's court hearing? And please understand that right now we have a lot of open-ended questions that have not been addressed yet. So anybody want to talk to Justin about that? Hearing none, I guess we'll move on to item number 6 with a compliance update from Mr. Scott Absher. Scott's been covering the state, crisscrossing here lately, trying to see what our entities are looking like as far as facilities are going. So, Scott, give us an update on what all you've seen so far.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the last week and a half, I've been able to visit approximately 31 of our future sites. They were from Grand Bay all the way to Athens, so from one end of the state to the other. I would like also to thank the commission members that were able to attend some of the inspections with me. That was very appreciated, not only by myself, but by the awardees. That it shows the dedication of the commission to the process. Through the on-site inspection process that was dictated by statute, which is 22A-53, Section A, subsection 4, establish an on-site inspection process to be conducted at each facility of an applicant prior to being issued a license, as well as ongoing site inspections of the facility of the licensee. What I did in this process was basically visit with these folks, see what they already had in place, what their future plans were, what kind of timelines we were looking at. And I can happily report to the commissioners that everybody is on track. They're simply awaiting their licenses. Some of them are awaiting the license in order to get their building permits from the cities or municipalities that their facilities are residing in. But everybody seems to be well on their way to getting a viable industry up and running. I do not perceive at this time anyone failing to meet those requirements, but we still would have our pre-commencement inspections to conduct, which with our cultivator, as you know, would be within 60 days of the issuance of their licenses. They must show the ability to start production. So that's the next milestone for them. I will be spending the rest of this afternoon and tomorrow mapping out the last of the integrators. I was able to do one integrator this past week, but I will do the other 4 starting next week, probably on the 2nd. But as I did before, I will send you a grid calendar with where and when, along with the information sheets that I've prepared and sent out to them, so that all the commissioners will know where we'll be at and when we'll be there. And at this time, if anyone's got any questions, I'll be more than happy to try to answer.
I've got a question, Scott. Have you made any progress, or I know you probably have some identified, have you gone as far as hiring investigators, inspectors, or auditors at this point?
Yes, sir, we have. We've conducted interviews and we are ready to pull the trigger. We're just, once again, we're waiting for licenses, just like the awardees. We're waiting for license to issue, so we'll have something for these folks to do. Myself, Brittany, and Daniel Altroy, we interviewed 10, 12 potential applicants, and we've narrowed it down to a handful. And once we get the program up and head of steam behind it, we'll be pulling the trigger on getting some additional inspectors in here to begin with, and then build out from there.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Does anyone on the commission have a question for Scott before we move on? Hearing none, we'll move on to a couple of decision items. And the first one is to authorize our director, Mr. John McMillan, to engage a hearing officer. Some of you may not know exactly what that will entail, so I'm going to ask Justin to address that briefly. Justin?
All right, Mr. Chairman. So as you are aware, the statute and the rules provide for those applicants who were denied a license to request an investigative hearing. And we have had a number of applicants who have done so. Those hearings will be conducted by a hearing officer. The statute contemplates a hearing officer being involved in that process, and the hearing officer will be responsible for the conduct of those proceedings and how various parties to those proceedings operate within the proceedings in accordance with the Administrative Procedure Act. What we need to do at this juncture is to get that hearing officer in place. We have the docket of those who have requested hearings, and then that hearing officer will proceed on going through that process, providing requisite notice to those parties who are involved as to how they will proceed, how the hearings will be scheduled and conducted, and how various parties can do things that they have the right to do under the Administrative Procedures Act, intervening in the cases and filing various pleadings and taking testimony and cross-examining and those types of things that are the basic requirements of the Administrative Procedures Act.
Thank you, Justin. We do have 26, I believe, total entities who have timely requested an investigative hearing. So there's a lot of work in front of that individual and your staff. So does anyone have a question for Justin pertaining to the hearing officer?
Mr. Chairman, this is Lori. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Laura.
Thank you. What's the criteria that will be utilized to make that determination of the selection of the hearing officer? Are you only planning on engaging one? And what pool would you be drawing from?
You want to address that, Justin?
Yeah, I think that, as to how many, I think that would be, probably something that we're going to have to determine once we, have some conversations in terms of, what this caseload is going to look like and who may be able to handle the cases, or if they do need to be split up to have multiple hearing officers in terms of, who they will be. We don't know at this point, and we're certainly going to, look at, what other agencies have done with respect to individuals who are who have served in that capacity before, those agencies that don't have a permanent one, and what that relationship or that agreement will look like as far as whether it's someone on loan or someone that is directed to us. That is something that we will have to determine as we start having those conversations with them.
So do you have a list of criteria or qualifications that you'll be looking for specifically for this hearing officer or hearing officers?
Yeah, I think, we don't have a list at this moment, but, certainly we would look at what their history has been, serving in that capacity as a hearing officer, within the confines of the Administrative Procedures Act, and then, what their current obligations are as far as what kind of caseload that they could handle going, forward with us, looking at what the timeline would be for us, for getting, cases, moving that have been requested, hearings that have been requested here.
Okay, well, if we can help, I
Yeah,
know I'd be happy to send in some qualifications that I think would be extremely important. This is obviously going to be a very important appointment, whoever is chosen to serve in this position.
We would certainly welcome your input on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Excellent question. And you're right, the caseload, as Justin mentioned, is going to be heavy with 12 integrators, 6 dispensaries, 4 cultivators, 3 processors, and a secure transporter, all requesting an investigative hearing. So it will be lengthy. Anyone else have a question for Justin pertaining to that before we entertain a motion? I'll now entertain a motion to authorize our Director, John McMillan, to engage a hearing officer. Do we have a motion?
So moved, Mr. James.
Got a motion? Mr. Harwell, is there a second?
Second.
Who is that?
Dwight.
Thank you, Dwight. Mr. Gamble with the second. Any other discussion on Mr. McMillan hiring a hearing officer for the investigative hearings? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
We'll need to do roll call.
We need to have a roll call. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead, Mr. McMillan, with a roll call vote. Indicate your support of the motion with a yes and opposition with a no.
Chairman Bowman,
Yes.
Dr. Blackmore,
Yes.
Dr. Sawicki, Mr. Gamble,
Yes.
Dr. Martin, Dr. Jensen,
Yes.
Ms. Skelton,
Yes.
Judge Price.
Yes.
Ms. Hatchett. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Judge. I'm sorry. That's Ms. Hatchett. Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Sablarski.
Yes.
Dr. Harvey.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries.
Thank you, John. Brittany, I think I'm not sure if you heard, I believe Ms. Hatchett got online and she voted yes.
Yes, I've had that.
Okay. Okay, let's move on to our second decision item, which was consideration of the items related to the investigative hearing. And we've heard a lot of talk about the court hearings today, and I don't know what you may be thinking, but I'm going to ask Justin to kind of explain what we have the option of doing today, and if y'all want to consider doing anything. But Justin, briefly explain kind of what this option could be.
Yes, sir. And, now that we have requests for investigative hearing, we have, we're operating in the context specifically of Rule 538-X-3-.18, which provides the opportunity for denied applicants to request investigative hearing. We have received those requests. The period for applicants to make those requests has closed as to all categories. And so, one thing that is, contained within that rule is, in addition to making the request, is that in that context of having pending requests for investigative hearing, the commission has the discretion to impose a stay on the issuance of some or all licenses pending the outcome of those investigative hearings. And there was talk about that in the court today. And I will tell you what we represented to the court, which is the position that we have maintained throughout this, and the position that I will maintain in explaining this to you today is that we are not staff, legal team. We're not making a recommendation to you on whether or not to impose a stay on the issuance of some or all licenses. What we are doing is explaining to you what the options are available to you and what the implications are of those options that you have and that discretion that you have. So, we're not making a recommendation. We have represented to the court that no recommendation has been made or will be made. And so I want to be very clear about that. According to the rule, and the thing that I think, that you need to be aware of, in addition to the fact that you have the discretion to impose a stay or not, according to the rule, if the commission decides to impose a stay on the issuance of any licenses, whether it be some, all, by category, whatever you choose to do within the realm of license awards that you have, due to the pendency of hearings. So that's the context that we're in with respect to this stay that would be considered. The rule says that any such stay will remain in effect until the time for appeal has lapsed or all appeals from the commission's decision have been resolved, whichever is later. And so just, laying out the implications for you, if you issue a stay, any stay, then that stay will remain in effect until all the investigative hearing process has concluded. And if anyone takes an appeal to court, until that appeal plays out, all stays will remain in effect until that has played out completely. So you don't have the flexibility or the authority to enter a stay and then to subsequently lift that stay while hearings or appeals are pending. The rule dictates that the stay remains in place until the end. Obviously, parties have requested stays from the court. The court has considered that and continues to take that into consideration, and there may be subsequent requests for a stay from the court, depending on what the commission's actions are today with respect to it issuing any stay. And if the court enters a stay, then obviously we would abide by the orders of the court. And those stays could be for all licenses in a particular category. It could be for all licenses across the board. It could be for individual licenses within a category. And certainly the court would have the ability to craft such a stay as it sees fit. The court would have the ability to lift all or parts of any stay that it may impose, even as the process for hearings and appeals is going forward. And so, a little bit of difference in terms of the timing effect of a stay imposed by the commission versus a stay imposed by the court. I'll be happy to try to answer any questions that you may have on that. But once again, we're not recommending a particular course of action. Just trying to make sure that you have an understanding of the rules and the circumstances that we find ourselves in as you consider this and how it impacts the investigative hearings and the issuance of licenses.
Okay, thank you so much, Justin. It is a lengthy explanation, a great explanation as well. Does any commission member have a question before we move forward with the consideration of an item?
Hey, Justin?
Yes.
Is it possible that we can make a motion essentially stating that we should not have a stay and that these awards should be issued by the commission?
Exactly.
I think it would be in order for you to make a motion and then to have the commission consider it, debate it if there is any debate, and move forward. In whichever regard, just depending on how you frame your motion, we would make sure that the commission understands what the motion is and what the yay or nay vote would mean for them, what the implications of it would be.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like at this point, we've done everything that we can as a commission, and that really, we should let the courts handle this at this point. That's just my opinion. That we should just move forward. That we should not issue a stay. And if personally, I feel like we followed Judge Anderson's rules and regulations in the meetings that we conducted. So it'd be great if we could show, establish with the motion that, hey, we tried, we did what you told us to do. We like to move forward with these people. The slate of awards that we've had in the month of December, and just get this show on the road so that people can get their medicine.
I agree with you, Sam. I agree.
I believe, Dr. Blakemore, that that type of motion will be in order if you want to make a formal motion to that effect.
So I'd like to make a motion that we should not stay the awards and that we should move forward with the process and leave this up to the courts.
Thank you, Dr. Blakemore. Is there a second?
I second the motion, Dwight Campbell.
I got a motion from Mr. Gamble to second that motion. Is there any other discussion from commission members?
Wait. Well, this is Eric Jensen.
Go ahead, Dr. Jensen.
So if we don't issue stays, we just go along like we hope to do all along, and then if the court decides to stay, that's what we're going to wait on.
Well, that's exactly right. The motion is the commission will not implement a stay on our actions thus far, and we will move forward as a commission on what we agreed to do on December the 1st and December the 12th with those awarded licenses. That's what that motion will consist of.
Okay.
Hi, this is Jersey. Quick question. Does that mean that we are approving and issuing the licenses? Oh, no, I'm sorry, issuing the licenses, we approved them on those 2 days. So is it, is the vote to issue the licenses?
And I'll provide, and I should have included this. So the rules provide that once the licenses are awarded, applicants who are awarded a license have 14 days in which to pay their license fee. All of those license fees have been paid. So they have 14 days from the date the license was awarded to pay their license fee. And then 14 days from that date, or 28 days from the date that the license is awarded, the license is issued. So there's no action of the commission other than awarding the license. There's no further action of the commission that's required in order for the licenses to issue. The only thing is that if the commission intervenes and issues a stay, then they would not issue as scheduled. So the licenses will issue 28 days from the date that they were awarded, unless the commission or the court enters a stay on the issuance of those licenses on those specific dates.
This is Judge Price. So I understand Dr. Blakemore motion, but from you explaining the rules, there's no action for us to take. I mean, they have 28 days, and we don't have to rule on whether or not to issue a stay. Just let the process work out itself, right?
So a couple of things. So the 28th day, with respect to all of the categories except for the integrated facilities, the 28th day from the date of award will be tomorrow. For the integrated facilities, the 28th day will be January 9th. So just so that you have those dates in mind. And I don't disagree with you, Judge Price, in the sense that those licenses are going to issue. The only thing that would stop them from issuing is a stay.
Right.
That doesn't mean that the commission has to affirmatively not issue a stay. As
Absolutely.
Mr. Blakemore has moved, But if it doesn't issue a stay, then they would issue.
Absolutely. So there's no need for a motion stating that we refuse, deny a stay, because the the license go into effect if we take no action based on the rules, right?
Well, the motion simply is the commission is not going to impose a stay itself. That's what the motion is.
There's no need for that motion, because the rule says that if we let the process run out after the 28 days, the license will go into effect.
Right, but will this just let the judge in the case, presiding in the case, know immediately where we stand, just in case he decides to make stays?
Exactly, Dr. Jensen. That's what this motion does. It in effect makes the declaration that the commission is not going to impose a stay. If a stay is imposed, it will be on the part of the court.
Well,
Also, one other comment. So the licenses aren't automatically issued unless they pass the inspection, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. So it's not necessarily a done deal for everybody, but yeah.
Correct. Yeah, the rules require a pre-issuance inspection, and the rules require that in addition to paying the license fee, that any other obstacles to the license being issued are cleared. And we would certainly see the pre-issuance inspection being one of those obstacles.
This motion simply, I believe, Justin, you can help me with this, but I believe this motion really makes a statement that the commission is not going to stop the process where we are right now.
As I understand the motion, it is a motion that the commission not enter any stay pending investigative hearings.
Yes, it basically means we're moving forward. And the only stay that may stop us or could derail anything would be a stay from the court. The commission is making the declaration that it is not going to impose a stay at this point.
Right. So Judge Price is correct that we don't really need to do anything, but I guess it's more that we're just making a statement that we're just going on like it's going to be approved, like we voted on. So
exactly.
Yeah.
But any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or questions? I'll ask Mr. McMillan to have the roll call vote. So, John, go ahead. If you support the motion with a yes, if you're opposed by no.
Chairman Vaughn.
Yes.
Dr. Blackmore.
Yes.
Dr. Salinsky. Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin. Dr. Jensen.
yes.
Ms. Dillon.
No.
Judge Price.
no.
Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Hartwell.
Yes.
Dr. Sablarski.
Abstain.
Dr. Harvey.
Yes.
Motion passes, Mr. Chairman.
So can I just ask our legal eagles why they opposed it?
Well, it's not, from my standpoint, it's just duplicate. It's not necessary.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
not
I hear you.
necessary. You know.
Yeah, I just think the point was to make a point to the judge that we weren't at some point going to just put stays on that we're moving ahead. I don't know if that helps or not. What about you, Lori?
I raised the issue back in during the drafting of the rules that there's a problem when you have licenses issuing the same day that appeals and requests for investigative hearings are due, because it almost moots the investigative hearings if the process isn't stayed, while other people are contending they should have been awarded a license at the same time that others are moving forward with being approved for a license. So it's I don't think you can do both at the same time.
I think the statement being made here is in the past, when the commission has recognized that we had a glitch or potential problem, that's when we imposed a self-imposed stay by the commission because we recognized we had a problem. And at this point in time, with where we are with the awarding of licenses, we don't feel like that we have a problem and we're ready to move forward. And that's what this declaration of not imposing a stay, that's what it says.
Yeah, I understand that. But I agree with Judge Price as well in his assessment of the issue.
Okay. Any other discussion on that item? Well, thank all of you for chiming in, and you've got great thoughts and explanations and great concerns. It's always good to hear, and so we'll take it from here. Is there any other old business to discuss? What about new business? The next meeting is scheduled for January 11th at 1 p.m. I'm not sure yet if it will be a virtual meeting or in person. We'll kind of wait and see what we have to discuss closer to time. No one else has anything to bring up. We will have a motion to adjourn. Is there one?
Mr. Chairman, let me just say thanks to you all for this dedicated work that we've been taking on for a number of months, that you have especially. And I texted our staff Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and look forward to a landmark year in 24. And I hope that's the way it turns out. And I say the same thing to you all. Thanks. And let's be as optimistic as possible, and hopefully we're going to get this thing moving more expeditiously in 24. Thanks a lot.
You're exactly right, John. When I look back on our time frame from November the 27th to December the 12th, we got an awful lot done in a few weeks there, and that was because of excellent work, a lot of commitment, dedication on the part of our staff and our commission members. So thank all of you for being so diligent and giving a lot of your time right there at a crunch time, Thanksgiving into Christmas holidays. But that was excellent work. It's always good to hear all the comments and concerns and questions. So don't ever think that you're not allowed to express your thoughts and concerns and questions. That's what we as commission members need to always be prepared to do. So I thank all of you for being so participating in this effort. So hopefully 2024 will afford us a time frame we can get moving. But anyone else have anything before we adjourn? I think Ms. Skelton made the motion. Is there a second?
Second. Eric.
Who's that, Dr. Jensen?
Yep.
Okay, Dr. Jensen. Any other discussion? All right, we'll stand adjourned at 2:40 p.m. Thank all of you for attending today. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Chairman Vaughn, can we call the roll, please?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, John. Can you call the roll again?
Chairman Vaughn.
Here.
Dr. Blakemore.
This is on motion to adjourn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dr. Blakemore. Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin. Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price.
Yes.
Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Sabarski.
Yes.
Dr. Harvey.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mr. Chairman.
Dion Robinson.
All right. Thank you, Dion. Good to hear you chiming in. Thank you, Mr. McMillan, for the roll call, and we'll see all of you in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
you.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.